So Grace and I are quite a little bit starstruck right now because if you see, yes I am, if you see who's in the background, that would be Joel Salatin.
So I'm kind of sad this morning because it's day 4 of Polyface Camp and it's our last day. So I'm not going to come back to Polyface Farm Camp until next year. The scenery is beautiful and it's just so amazing to just soak it all in and just think on how much I have learned this week.
It is, like Grace said, it's day 4 of Polyface Camp. I'm not totally sure my kid is going to be wanting to come home with me.
It's the last day.
So yeah, it has been an amazing week for her, but it's been an amazing week for me also. Just getting, there's so much stuff that you see on like YouTube videos, but actually being here and seeing it in person, it's amazing. It's so beautiful here.
Yeah, my favorite part honestly was getting to meet Joel and getting him to sign my book.
To Grace? You're Grace?
Yes, sir.
One of your leaders here is Grace.
Yes.
Right? You picked
have fun, buddy.
You picked one that's gonna have some
I've read it twice.
Oh.
I've read it twice.
Okay, that's really sick because that's got a little bit of heavy stuff in it.
This is my favorite one.
Cool. That's great. That's great. Yeah, you know, every last book is your favorite one. You know. Exactly.
What's your favorite?
So my favorite, actually, of all of them ever, is the sheer ecstasy of being a Polyface Farm Camp. To me, I call that my soul book. Okay. Because people are always, oh come on, farming's farming. What difference is it? I mean, that's the the general idea. Farming's farming. You know, how different can one farm be to another? And that's the book that we read this one. This is
I own it, but it's good to know your favorite.
Yeah, because that's the one that really explains and expresses with humor the different thinking philosophy of what we do here. So yeah, that's kind of my favorite.
I'll tell you one thing that I really liked and I enjoyed was the second day that we were here, they were actually processing meat birds. And I love to just, to actually see that in person was really neat because I've seen it, like I said, on videos, but actually being here in person to see it was really cool.
So obviously I love being out here with the meat birds. And one of the reasons I really like being out here with them is the way that they're raised. I mean, I wouldn't want, if you go and buy a chicken from the supermarket or grocery store or whatever, and that bird is not raised like these. It has probably been in a house full of a bunch of other birds, and it's smelly, and it's contaminated, and it's just gross. And the bird doesn't win, the farmer doesn't win, the consumer doesn't win, and the land doesn't win because it's polluting the air, soil, and water. But in this situation, the soil wins because the chickens are fertilizing it. The farmer wins because it's a delightful job to raise these birds and see how happy they are. And the consumer wins because it's a very healthy product. So one of the big things that actually helps them do what they do and do this efficiently is their watering system. Now it's very simple, but it's very effective. So basically you just have a white 5-gallon bucket of water on top of the pen. So after you fill the bucket with water, you've got a tube that runs down to the pen. And basically when they drink the water, pressure is released and it lets the water out. And if it wasn't for that pressure, then what would happen is all of the water in here would just go out really fast, and then that would be very wasteful, and you would have to come and refill it like 5 times a day. I actually tried to recreate this at home because the chickens were getting their water really messy, but what happened was all of the water went to one side and it all tipped over, so that then the water just spit out and it didn't work. But what I figured out here is they have a huge weight on the bottom of the water, and that keeps it very still and steady. And one of the reasons they actually hang it up, there's actually 2, is because 1, the meat birds, if they had it on the ground, the birds would get it really, really dirty and filthy and yucky. They'd have to clean it out all the time. But when you hang it up, they move these pens every day. So when they move it, they're not having to take the water out. It's just hung up. So when you're moving it, you're being more efficient because you're not having to take the water out. It just stays in there. And for one pen, that doesn't sound like a whole lot of work. But when you've got a whole bunch of these guys, that actually saves a lot of time. So just to recap on some of the fun things we did this week, we helped Mr. Joel move the cows. We got to see Polyface process chickens. We swam in the creek. We saw the sheep, turkeys, chickens, and we got eggs. It was just a really, really, really awesome week. So my absolute favorite thing that we did was to help Mr. Joel move the cows and get him to sign my book and just to talk to him and meet him.
Here with two of the boys that have attended camp, and I want to hear, guys, what are y'all, can y'all think of what are the highlights for y'all this week? What's been some of your favorite things y'all have done?
Probably seeing all the animals.
Seeing all the animals, yeah.
I liked the water games and all the fun we had.
The water games, yes. Elizabeth, what was your favorite thing you did this week?
To feed the baby cow.
Feed the baby cow. That might be one of my favorites too. Guys, can y'all tell me what was your favorite thing about this week?
My favorite thing to do was the crafts.
The crafts? Mm-hmm. What was your favorite thing?
To hold the chicken.
To hold the chicken.
Yeah.
I am here with Molly and Grace, and they're the two who headed up this camp this week, and let me tell y'all, they were amazing, like amazing. All the kids had so much fun. I'd pull up, the kids would be laughing, and they were just having so much fun. But I bet that there are some people watching this and like, I want my kid to go to Polyface Camp. And yes, you do. And you know what? I bet there are adults out there like, I want to go to Polyface Camp too, and I understand because I do. But, you know, I just wanted to ask, you know, are y'all going to do Polyface Camp again next year?
Definitely, yes. We definitely want to do it again.
Yes, okay, so people that are watching this, where can they go? How can they find out about camp next year?
So we'll post it through Polyface in usually around January. So we'll do it through their website and on Instagram, and we'll put links through there.
Okay, sweet. And I will actually leave the link in the comments to Polyface.
Awesome. So each day of camp, we write in our journal, and this is the tree that I always love to sit by and just look at the pond and soak it all in and see how beautiful it is, and I'm gonna miss it so much.